PDP BOT says the party may have zoned 2027 presidential ticket to the south, but it still remains open to all. And the CPC bloc of the APC have shown their allegiance to President Bola Tinubu, a vow to support him in the 2027 election. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I am Sean Okimale here in Abuja. We're bringing you some of your major stories in the land today. And we're focusing on some of the major ones. Tonight, let me tell you what has transpired in the ranks and in the People's Democratic Party. Nigeria is one of Nigeria's major opposition party. So the People's Democratic Party today inaugurated elective convention organizing committee, which is to be chaired by the governor of Adamawa State, Governor Fintiri. That meeting will hold on November 15th and 16th in Ibadan. At the inauguration today in Abuja, the PDP National Chairman Umar Danagum is asking members of the committee to remain focused and avoid distractions, worried that such diversions may come from the ruling party or even from voices within the PDP who, despite benefiting in the past, now seek to weaken the party. The Damagum affirmed that the convention date is sacrosanct and non-negotiable. Take a listen to the PDP National Chairman.
Just as during the military era, when the founding fathers of our great party courageously accepted the responsibility of challenging the existing power structure, today we too accept this responsibility to rescue Nigeria's democracy from undemocratic forces, to save our nation from this ongoing bastardization. The inauguration of this committee, while part of our tradition, also symbolizes our collective determination to organize, to mobilize, and to deliver a national convention that will stand as a testament to our democratic ideals. As you know, the 2025 National Convention is scheduled to hold in Ibadan, and that is sacrosanct. I want to make it very clear.
Well, it was not the only person who spoke. Of course, the Governor Fintiri, who is the chair of the convention in Ibadan, the organizing committee for that convention, also spoke. But one of those who spoke that really got the attention of everyone is the chairman of the PDP, chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Governor of Bauchi State, Governor Baba-Ahmed is saying that the party is ready to face off with anyone who is willing to drag the name and the people of the party into the mud. Take a listen to Governor Baba-Ahmed.
We are with the National Working Committee. We appreciate the sacrifice they are making. And of course, the way and manner they have brought consensus to bear on the way forward. But certainly time has come when we must flex our muscles. We are not cowards and we are not afraid of anybody. We will no longer allow or tolerate anybody to take us for granted. It has to stop. Enough is enough. We are not going to tolerate any longer.
Also speaking at that event is a former governor of Kaduna State and the secretary of the Board of Trustees, Senator Ahmed Makarafi, says that although the party has zoned its presidential ticket to the south, but no qualified aspirant from any zone should be barred from contesting
convention is not about excluding anybody, but it's also not a denial of the majority to have their way, because that's what democracy is all about. The party has done its positions, north-south. North can sit and do what they wish, South can sit and do what they wish, but that should not deny any individual who disagrees by testing his will. Buy the form, go to the field, and test your capacity.
This is some of the major soundbites out of the PDP meeting today, which is a major one ahead of the Ibadan convention, when the eyes of the whole world will be at the convention to be hosted by the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, on the 15th and 16th. We'll be bringing you more on that and getting insight on what is happening from the major players. But tonight on the program, more reactions to what former governor of Kaduna State said on this program on Sunday, El-Rufai, that those who are speaking up about some of the issues that he has raised. We'll be getting more insight tonight. And of course, I will take you into the heart of what we'll discuss with President Bola Tinubu at a presidential villa, where Buhari's men, those of the CPC bloc in the APC, went to President Tinubu. What were the things that they told him? What were the things that he said to them? We'll be hearing details from the leaders of that group who met President Tinubu today. But first, let's have you with some of your political roundup stories.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says his administration will solve 80% of the accommodation challenges of FCT judicial officers before the expiration of the tenure of President Bola Tinubu. Mr. Wike made the pledge at the flag-off of the construction of a magistrate court in the Jabi district of the nation's capital. He further appraised the support of the FCT High Court to his administration, saying their role has significantly boosted the revenue generation of the FCT.
I have been going around, and sometimes when you see where our judges and magistrates sit, it's very, very embarrassing. Let me assure you, before the end of the first tenure of Mr. President, we would have solved 80% of your accommodation problems before this tenure ends.
And Governor Hyacinth Eleya of Benue State has denied plotting the removal of his deputy, Mr. Sam Ode, ahead of the 2027 general elections. The governor made a declaration during the swearing-in of 17 commissioners at the government house in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. He described his deputy as a grassroots politician who is loyal and supportive. And ahead of the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party, some concerned stakeholders of the party are warning against any form of micro-zoning of the party's offices and are demanding the immediate conduct of congresses in Ekiti, Ebonyi, and Anambra states. This was a resolution reached by the group after long hours of closed session at the FCT minister's official residence in Abuja. Furthermore, the group threatens to invalidate the upcoming PDP National Convention if the demands are not met. Meanwhile, the Elders Council of the People's Democratic Party in Anambra State have rejected calls for the dissolution of the State Executive Committee led by Mr. Chidi Chidebe, citing good performance and relative peace within the party. In a meeting convened at the premises of one of the pioneer elders of the party, Senator Ben Obi, the chairman of the PDP Elders Council, Mr. Felix Oli, notes that there are no pending legal actions against the Anambra State Executive Committee, and any attempt to dissolve the executive will destabilize the party and create unnecessary conflict. Chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Mr. Tony Okocha, has declared the party's readiness to work with the suspended governor Siminalayi Fubara once he is recalled by the president. Okocha, who spoke at a press briefing in Port Harcourt, said the APC will collaborate with the governor in the interest of the state, but would not hesitate to constructively criticize any bad policy. He also expressed readiness to rally the 32 members of the River State House of Assembly to constitutionally align with the APC.
There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup story. So let's get back to some of the issues that were raised by former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai, who alleged that the government is paying bandits to dissuade them from killing Nigerians. Of course, you know that he appeared on this program on Sunday, where he argued that bandits should be killed and not engaged in negotiation. The former governor served between 2015 and 2023, alleging that the policy of negotiation and compensation of armed groups was a national directive championed by the Office of the National Security Advisor. And since his appearance on this program, there are those who have said himself as engaged in those kind of acts in the past. A debate that have ensued based on that statement. However, the Office of the National Security Advisor has dismissed claims by Mr. El-Rufai that the federal government had been coordinating ransom payments and inducement to armed bandits across the country. Let me remind you, for those of you who couldn't catch it, but of course you can still go back to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/channels web, and you can catch the full interview and portions that I'm going to show you, specifically for our conversation tonight. This is a point where Malam El-Rufai on Sunday said it is a national policy driven by the Office of the National Security Advisor, and Kaduna is part of it. Many states are objecting to that, but that is a policy. Now, take a listen to him.
What I will not do, okay, is to pay bandits, give them monthly allowance, or send food to them in the name of non-kinetic. It's nonsense. We are empowering bandits. It's not the government of Kaduna State. It's a national policy driven by the Office of the National Security Advisor, and Kaduna is part of it. Many states are objecting. Now is objecting to that, but that is the policy now. Kill the bandits. That's the new policy. My position has always been the only repentant bandit is a dead one. Let's kill them all. Let's wipe them. Let's bomb them until they are reduced to nothing. And then the 5% that still want to be rehabilitated can be rehabilitated. You do not negotiate from a position of weakness. You don't empower your enemy. You don't give him money to go and buy more sophisticated weapons. That's why the insecurity problem has not gone away and will not go away as long as this policy continues.
That is an extract of what Malam El-Rufai said on this program on Sunday. And indigents and citizens of Kaduna State and citizens of Nigeria are already reacting to some of the issues, especially the implications. Tonight, let's speak with one of those who is concerned about that statement. He's Senator Baba-Ahmed. He's joined us live. He's a former lawmaker and the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023. Thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Hi, pleasure to be here.
I know you were one of those who were somewhat very concerned about that statement. What's your view about that statement, though?
That statement is at the core of Nigeria being, Nigeria having a government. Do we really have a government if somebody who sold Nigeria's assets for 4 years at BPE, served as FCT minister for 4 years and served as governor, would say that there is a national policy of paying bandits? Do we have a government? Am I a citizen? Are you a citizen? Does Nigeria exist? Or do a pack of people live in a certain territory with another group of people claiming to misrule them? Do we have a government? Do we have a nation? What are we doing? Are people understanding the gravity of this statement? Do we even have an office of a national security advisor? A national policy is official position of government. An official declaration that this is what we shall be constitutionally doing, what we shall be legally pursuing. That's what we call a national policy. It is made public, it is celebrated, it is broadcast to the whole world. Was such a thing held? Why did Nasiru say it? If the so-called Office of National Security Advisor will take this statement with levity, then Nuhu Ribadu was never a policeman. He is not a qualified lawyer. He should not be in that office.
What would you say he should be doing? His office has reacted to this.
That is not a reaction.
If you were the NSA, what would you be doing?
And Nasiru should be writing some comments by now, some statements to the police, to the courts. If the position of Nigeria, the so-called APC government of Uncle Tinubu, if their official position is to be compensating bandits, paying bandits, then we don't have a nation.
So your inference tonight is that whatever Malam Nasir El-Rufai has said in that respect, which we played back,
yes,
if it's not true, the government of the day should be taken more seriously.
Yes, and so long as it passes by with the so-called, what you call reaction of the answer, then it is true. And I tend to agree that it could be true.
But if for example, I was going to ask
before this one, another almost 8-year governor of Borno State said that there are informants of terrorists in the Nigerian military and among Nigerian politicians. And it is official. You have the evidence. Before then, there was another politician who again said that bandits and terrorists were brought into Nigeria pre-2015 election. These are even small ones. Do you remember? Now, what I'm about to say and my arguments are that insecurity is part of APC. Insecurity has been APC's way of getting power. Insecurity has been part of APC's way of staying in power.
Is that fact or just your opinion?
That is my candid, firm opinion that is being strengthened by the kind of unfortunate comments like that of Nasiru. So 2 days ago.
But there are no facts to what you're saying.
There are
no facts to what you're saying.
There are facts.
If there are opinions, how would you say a government of the day is part of their life or living is insecurity?
That I'm giving you the facts. Now I have clearly given you 3 statements of politicians, government functionaries that are undisputed. I have given you this. Go back in time. Do you remember that a former Nigerian president was attacked by terrorists? Unprecedented, never in the history of Nigeria did that happen. Do you also remember that I made a passing statement on that in 2022, which, as usual, people didn't take seriously? Why did some young men in the forest in the northeast, what business do they have? When Nigerian leaders leave, they are liked, they are loved, they are forgiven all their errors and everything. This one, they followed and tried to kill him. Why did that happen? What happened in all the donations leading up to 2015? Why decide to come back and run in 2015 after crying and telling the whole world you're no longer contested? What was the link with North Africa? What was the link with Muammar Gaddafi? He's not alive, but others are alive to say it.
You are from Kaduna State, Senator.
This is Shehu.
Oh.
I'm in so much pain. Believe me. Nigeria is a great country, should be a great country, and we have people destroying us by the hour. Insecurity has been part of APC's game. And Nasiru is saying it, and I think he's right. The government has been paying them.
Well, you don't
Last year, this time, I have facts.
No, the government has said no, they are not paying them.
They are paying them because the reaction of UNSA is not disputing what Nasiru has said.
You are inferring that the NSA should arrest Nasir El-Rufai or collect his statement. But if that happens, there are those in opposition that will say they are going after opposition voices.
There are more ways to counter such a position. I told you about 2015. There, you see, going after a former Nigerian president, trying to kill him. What does that tell you? Something. Before that, what had happened? After Jonathan won in the Supreme Court, they called for dialogue, and those young men nominated a former Nigerian president who took 3 days to repudiate. After those 3 days, go and plot the graph. You will see that between 2012 to 2014, the spikes of attacks around those villages in the northeast skyrocketed because hunger, lack of medicine. Why? Because somebody had stopped sending the recurrent expenses of those people who used to come all the way to Kaduna, collect, and then go back. And that's how the cycle went. In protest as to why did you call that name, they couldn't bear it anymore and felt by 2014 the best thing was to go and attempt. It failed. We're lucky. They got Jonathan scared. He thought that, oh, if they kill this man, Nigeria will burn. They provided him with additional cars, more money, and it was all about money. It was all about collecting money. The truth is that somebody had gone to North Africa, negotiated with Gaddafi. Gaddafi, who is was an international terrorist, all over the world, from the far west to the far east, said, I will help you, like I've been doing. I heard there are some young men. There are plans to kill Gaddafi, not in a palace coup, but through uprising. If it fails and you become president, I will retire to your country if you become president. If it doesn't fail, right now, he wanted to create a buffer. So he sent Saif al-Islam, go on YouTube and find out, to Niger with money, cash, millions of dollars in his boot, to recruit Tuaregs to go and fight in Libya. Sent his former general to Mali, why you still have insecurity in Mali. In Nigeria, they gave crazy amount of money to that gentleman. Go and help these people with the intention of bringing them to fight in Libya. When Gaddafi died, they sat on the money. They kept on with the recurrent until after mentioning the name, and then they stopped sending the money. They became, now, all these things are linked. They wanted Nigeria to burn if Buhari did not become president in 2015. I contested alongside Buhari for Senate. I contested for Senate in 2011. You have it on YouTube. He said, blood, soaked in blood, the baboon and the... Ever since he made that comment, I refused to go and campaign with Buhari. Refused completely. It didn't matter if I lost the Senate seat. I won it eventually. Insecurity for a former president to say, you soak in blood. And then there was, Kaduna is my state. There was serious violence in Kaduna. Many, many houses were burnt. Emir's houses in Ongwansariki, Demna Abba had their houses burnt and all that, simply because of a statement. They went and brought in people from those neighboring places in readiness to remove Jonathan by all means. So the desperation of people to get Jonathan out of power has built up and added to what we call insecurity in Nigeria today. So
you're inferring that all what we have seen over the last few years as insecurity is orchestrated?
Of course.
And it's political?
Of course. Last year around this time.
This narrative.
Last year around this time. Whatever I tell you, I'll try to give you evidence. Last year around this time, we were just negotiating the release of our own nephew. And when he came out, what he said is not much different from what Nasir El-Rufai is saying. They complained that, and this young man is alive, he could come here tomorrow and you interview him. He's alive now in Zaria. He's alive. That, look, they're not making much money relying on these handouts from government. Each time they go out to operate, they make more money, like he does in their hand. We kept negotiating. He's alive and he can come to this and sit with you, Shehu Akimbaloyi, and you interview him. This is a fact. But my grudge with Nasiru's statements is that he was part and parcel of APC from 2013. Like he told you, he was one of the architects of it all. All of a sudden, to come and absolve himself and call others. No. Nasiru is part and parcel of all that has been going on. We suffered, we are victims of Nasiru's misrule in Zaria. Go back December 2015, when a war was supposed to have been won in the Northeast. What business, what military and strategic business did an army chief have to come to Zaria for a convocation, not of NDA, graduation of recruits, privates, choosing to follow the route where the Shiites were holding? All these things were orchestrated. They knew the exact hour, the exact minute that he was coming to pass, because they had the technology. And 800 people were killed because they wanted to raise down the temple that was built. These things were carefully doctored and orchestrated.
These are heavy allegations that you are making. And which one will imagine? One will imagine someone of your status in the society. Yeah. Why are you just saying this? Why are you saying this? Does it amount to a political gimmick? Or no. What exactly are you up to with this?
Shehu, I've been saying it. I said it in your own program. I mentioned the link about North Africa. In your own program, go back and check. Play the archives and see. Wherever I spoke, I linked electoral fraud with insecurity, corruption and insecurity. I have always done this.
Give me a moment, sir. We'll go on a break. But when we come back, our closing moment with Senator Baba-Ahmed. Of course, afterwards, we will be speaking with Farouk Aliyu. He was one of the leaders who met President Bola Tinubu today. And they said to him their minds about the state of the affairs of the APC. And this and more after this break, everyone. Everyone for staying with us. Our closing moment with Senator Baba-Ahmed. I'm worried, actually, with some of the things that you are saying. But what is at the heart of all of this is that people are being killed. And government is saying innocent soldiers are also losing, and security operatives are losing their lives. The question is, where do we go from here? How do we stop this cycle? If you say they are political in nature, for the sake of God, how do we stop this cycle of killings?
Only when you have the right leaders. You can only have the right leaders when you have them truly elected. So long as people will steal an election, so long as people will capture a nation, you will never have security. Most important, most drastic, most horrific is that when that group of people use the tools of insecurity like we have seen in 2015, and it worked, and they achieved what they wanted. And again, they use now, for example, the tools of religion, ethnicity, division within political parties, heavy use of money, security, constitutional abuses and breaches. The law means nothing. It is just what one individual decides, irrespective of what the law says. You have to go and change the law to what suits that individual. There cannot be security. Not just peace, there cannot be security. Now let's go back. The purpose of being together in a nation is that you must be secured by whoever is leading you. If you are not secured, you are living in hell. You are not in a nation. Like we're almost there now. If that is the purpose, and you have someone who served as 8 years as a governor in one of the federating units, to come and say that it's a policy of the government to reward, because pay is reward, to reward terrorists and criminals. And the history of these people who have been in power, including the governor who said it, is that it is consistent with what he claims now to be doing. And that government is still ongoing. They still have another 2 years to go. We, the ordinary citizens, have no option. The whole world will take it that, yes, the Uncle Tinubu government, so-called federal government of Nigeria, has a policy of paying bandits and terrorists. The history I narrated to you of collecting donations from all over the world by somebody who specialized in collecting donations, by somebody whose entire political game, presidential contest, was because there was no way to sustain the ecosystem around him. They have to contest elections every 4 years. So even after 2011, they must contest elections, especially with the kind of money that people of like the same El-Rufai was bringing to contest. There can be no security for us ordinary citizens of Nigeria so long as you have electoral heist, underwritten, guaranteed by the kind of money and fraud that is taking place now. One single contract of 15 trillion naira extra, if I say judiciously, extra legally awarded. You cannot, you and I, ordinary citizens, will continue to live in a country that is close to hell, because it is close to hell. Last year, our family got together and rescued one of our nephews. Every day, you like to ask for evidence. The evidence is with you people in the... every day, villages and villagers are sacked from their villages, killed, carted away. Human beings are traded on the commodity like bags of rice that we like talking about. The standard price of human life now is out there. And you have a so-called government that are basking in the fact that they stole 2023 elections, and again that no one can stop them from taking 2027 again. Before then they go and remove the Northeast and the Northwest from the Federation and allow the other units to go on their own. I will come back to that in some other setting. There is no peace, there is no security for us living in close to hell. So long as these people are worshipped, continue to be worshipped by sycophants, telling them what they are doing is right, they are buying politicians who are jumping ship to join APC and give them the falsehood that they are doing well. There will be no security, and it will continue to fail. All right. They're getting closer to Abuja. They're getting closer and closer and closer to Abuja. This insecurity we're talking about. So long as the president the so-called president is aloof with the realities on ground and has a so-called vice president who has been reduced to just going for wedding ceremonies, burial ceremonies, in the situation that Nigeria is, look, it is easier for the federal government of Nigeria now to send a whole vice president to go for condolence visits and wedding ceremonies than when 200 people are killed in the villages in Katsina. 52 were killed 2 days ago. He didn't go. But
we're totally out of time. We're totally out of time, Senator. Yes. But thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. This program is over. I have not been able to say 10% of what I wanted to say, but it is true what Malam Nasiru said, that there appears to be a national policy. However, he cannot run away because he is part of it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We need to run on a break, everyone. And when we come back, Honorable Farouk Aliyu will be joining me next. Stay with us. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So, former governor of Nasarawa State, Senator Tanko Al-Makura, has led members of the former Congress for Progressive Change bloc on a courtesy visit to President Bola Tinubu at the State House, reaffirming their loyalty to the APC and the administration of President Bola Tinubu. Speaking on behalf of the bloc, Al-Makura says there's a profound gratitude they're giving to the president for the honor accorded the late leader, former President Muhammadu Buhari. During his passing in the state burial accorded to him, he described Tinubu's presence and support throughout the funeral as a powerful statement of dignity. Al-Makura went further to highlight the historic alliance between Buhari and Tinubu, describing it as one built on discipline, justice, economic, and sovereignty. Well, the president had a few things to say. Let me allow you to listen to what President Bola Tinubu said.
I know many of you had to suffer the initial abuse and the fear. Where are we going? We know the direction that we should go. We are going up. No, those who may not know will not know. Today I'm standing before you, I can brag that Nigeria is not borrowing, it's dying from local bank. The revenue, we have met our target of revenue for the whole year. We met it in August. I've reviewed this morning. Non-oil. If non-oil revenue is going well, then we have no fear of whatever Trump is doing on the other side.
That's President Bola Tinubu. Let's speak with one of the leaders of that bloc, former CPC, who are, well, you can describe it as a bloc because they were the building blocks that formed the APC. Honorable Farouk Aliyu, one of the allies, those who you would say brought Buhari to power and prominence. Honorable Farouk Aliyu is a former federal lawmaker. Thanks so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Nigeria. Good evening.
President Bola Tinubu, in his usual fashion, speaks his mind and speaks to issues related, and those who say, oh, his history as being a finance person and a former treasurer and all what have you. But for you in that meeting, what came out to you?
First of all, what came, we went on a courtesy visit. Also thank him, of course, for what he did when our leader died. And what clearly came out was that APC is one family, that the unity that came together, APC, CPC, CPC, ANPP, ACN, and the new PDP is still together, and that he's going to continue to work with us to ensure that the government continues as one family, as one party. So that's what came out. And then also he said our visit came to him with some nostalgic feelings about his relationship with the late president, how, we struggled together. He pointed at me clearly. He remembered how I struggled when me and him were arguing about logo of either pen or broom, when I was vehemently insisting we're not going to take the broom that time. And here we are together. We came as APC, and we are proud of the president. We are proud that he's a product of us coming together. Buhari first, and then him second. So we are proud of him and proud of our government.
Were you able to also debate with him about how the CPC bloc seems to have been left out of the equation? The power sharing formula.
No. You see, we did not go to discuss politics in that matter. We went on a courtesy visit to extend our gratitude because what he did for the country, us, our leader, it was monumental, and we were appreciative of that. So that what took us. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was with him. I had a meeting with him, in the villa. That's where we discuss things that relates to people that belong to CPC, and we continue to do that. So we don't feel left out, honestly. There are some, we have 4 governors in this, Jigawa governor.
You think that CPC bloc don't feel left out? Is that what you think?
No. Well, of course there are agitations. There are some.
Is there agitation or the real fact that those who have laid on the ground? Malami will have a testament to, and there are a long list of them who are of the CPC bloc, who are of the Buhari alignment in the APC, who feel
but look,
they have been left out
Buhari's
of.
government and Tinubu's government are one and the same. So if certain people that were in Buhari's government did not have position in this government, they shouldn't complain.
So the Malamis of this world, their grounds are baseless.
To me, it is baseless. Because, look, Malami became a minister for 8 years. So what does he have to say? He has been taken care of, if it's that, But so let's even not go there. We are not complaining because, as far as I'm concerned, Buhari was president. There were too many faces that are not around now. They were there. So they have to allow other people to have, to come to that.
But I know you spoke about the issue of security, and the earlier guest spoke at length about, and it was difficult to cut in because you sometimes don't want to be seen as though you don't want you're gagging people from speaking their minds. If you allow government people to speak, you should allow people who have differing thoughts about the way a man of things are running. If people speak about your leader like that, and you heard what he said about your leader who died, and how security has been handled over in the country, do you feel sad about the scenario of things?
Too sad. I'll speak about 4 things. One, that Baba-Ahmed had forgotten when we came to house in 2003 under the tutelage of Buhari, the same Buhari he came here to accuse. He won his election because of Buhari. He had forgotten about that.
So he benefited from a Buhari?
Absolutely. Buhari's protege. Buhari brought him to limelight. And, you called him senator. He's not a senator. No, he's not a senator.
Because he was removed.
He was removed
by the court.
And the court said he was illegally, announced as, sworn in as senator. So please, Deputy Baba-Ahmed is just like me, honorable member, former. So but that's not it. It's unfortunate if somebody like him will sit here to talk about insecurity. We, the elites, he came with a policeman now. And if anybody comes, of course there are challenges of security. And let me use this opportunity to beg my brother, my friend, Nuhu Ribadu. He should not join issues. I am begging Nuhu Ribadu not to join issues with Nasru El-Rufai or the dirty Baba-Ahmed. No. He's beyond that. He shouldn't talk. Let him allow other people to take, because they are talking politics. The same El-Rufai here came to talk politics, talking about insecurity. It's true, there are challenges, security challenges in this country. And is the government doing something? Yes. And look, this is part of opposition. When we were in opposition, there was nothing we didn't say also. But when you come to the stage...
Like when you said that Jonathan was funding insecurity.
Yes, we said that. That's true.
You particularly said that.
I said that.
But were there evidence? Was it true, or you just wanted to Jonathan out of the way?
No. You see, there were instances where we had allegation of the government of that time deliberately funding. Deliberately. But like in the Northeast, how the Sheikah was killed. We thought the government was complicit, and it's true. The government was, because this man was arrested, brought to the police, and somehow he was died.
So is the government of the day complicit?
No.
Is Buhari government complicit? Just as Dati Baba-Ahmed was alleged.
You see, because I had private discussions with him, I don't want to come on air. But he came here to speak politics. I would want to come here to discuss, probably debate with him. Because he has told me where he's tagging, where he's going to come. Because I asked him, why are you not in coalition? He told me certain things privately. And he came here to say certain things which are totally false about Buhari, completely lie. Because look, if it is true that Buhari funded terrorism, how come things happened the way they did? How can you be in government and allow your government to be destabilized? What nonsense are we talking about? So look, and we should not take this politics beyond, sense, because you and I are sitting here. There are no policemen guarding this place. So if any elite comes to speak about insecurity, That's absolute nonsense. Of course, there are challenges in some parts of the country, but it is not as bad as people claim to be. Because otherwise, you and I would not be walking on the street of Abuja.
2 days ago, Katsina governor was in some communities that were ravaged.
That is true.
A few days ago when
people were killed in the mosque and so on. Yeah.
And you look at the numbers, not emotions this time around. Because I personally on this program adore the job and the hard work of our military and their security forces. They have option of doing some other things, but they are dedicated in protecting the nation. So I respect their job, and I salute them every day of what the gallantry they put into this. We have challenges. But those whose family members, siblings, nephews, cousins are being killed, when they hear the manner in which you elites speak about security, they get very sad. Because yes, things are bad. Yes, people are being killed, but the question is that where do we go from here?
But the insensitive nature of people like Dutty, the insensitive nature of our armed forces, if you don't, press them, how dare you come to talk nonsense about insecurity? And look, I have seen a video yesterday sent to me by a former governor yesterday of a small kid who is into gun running in Sokoto State, somewhere there. And look, what do you expect government to do with people who are informants amongst us? So, and when El-Rufai was saying, go and kill them, you don't kill everybody. You don't do that. And when you're in government, and he was a governor. When he was governor, there are certain things that also he didn't do. And now with all the kill everybody, he was governor for 8 years. Tell me, between when El-Rufai was governor of Kaduna and now these 2 years, which is better in terms of insecurity in Kaduna State? So which means the way he wanted everybody to be killed, it didn't work. So if there are but certainly the government of the day do not negotiate with terrorists. No,
yeah, because
they don't.
That's what that he was saying.
No, he's lying.
It looks like what the allegation of... Because Nasir said that he knows where the bodies were buried. He knows the issues. And when he comes there, because he's on the other side, he could easily speak about what happened.
Can he come and speak about 800 or over 1,000 Shiites that he also killed in Kaduna? What are we talking about? These are people who had no arms. They bear no arms. And El-Rufai was in the forefront and make sure they were killed. So please, let us not even go there.
But when you spoke to the president about the issue of insecurity,
we did.
What did you tell him?
We told him...
Is he in touch with the realities of the situation?
In fact, when we left him, delegation of Katsina State saw him after us to still continue discussion of insecurity. Last week when I saw him, that was the issue we discussed. We discussed about the situation in the north where people are agitating. He said, look, I know there are a lot of issues. Some I know, some I don't know. He said, Honorable, this place I'm sitting is a prison. I want you to understand, Honorable, that look, there are certain things you will not know. I pitied him. I sympathized. I understood that, look, it is true when you are a president, there are certain things you don't know. And every problems of this country are hit on a president. Now let me concede, there are certain things we also put attributed to Jonathan, which was not correct. Now I realize that it's true when you're in that office, there are certain exigencies of the office that come with the work. So you need to tread softly. Yeah. So Mr. President is in prison. Certainly, because there are certain stories that will never come to him.
But do you think that this is going to affect his chances? That those who are now warning and ringing the bell that it's time to go home in the opposition and saying they will ensure, and yesterday you saw Senator Marafa who said that it will ensure that the president
takes away 1
million votes.
Okay.
And the father and the opposition, the likes of Nasir El-Rufai are saying, look, it's time to say goodbye to the APC and Bola Tinubu.
You see,
with what is going on in the country now,
listen.
Do you think your party stand a chance in 2027?
By the grace of God, it's God that sees tomorrow. But by the grace of God, by things that happen, nothing will stop Tinubu from coming back. Because, look, when my brother and friend, very close friend, Marafa said he was going to take 1 million votes from Tinubu, okay. There are no 1 million votes in Zamfara, definitely, where he holds sway. And that I can understand his frustration that he was Director General campaign and he's not a minister or anything. Look, I keep giving example about me. If it's not about you, come and work for your people. And then most of these northern elites, I beat my chest to say, I invested over 6 billion naira in my village. Now, I have over 3,000 people employed under me. I never held government offices. What are my friends, the colleagues in the northern part of this country, doing to alleviate suffering of our masses down the ladder?
Yeah, I wish we could talk more about that.
So it's not about the president.
Yeah, we totally understand. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Honorable Farouk Aliyu, a leader in the APC and a former member of the House of Representatives. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Men, thanks for watching. I'm Sean Akimale. God bless Nigeria.